Hey everyone, welcome back to
5 Minute Eats, and we are on the last and final day of Meatball Sub Week here on 5 Minute Eats. And at the end of today's episode, we're going to tell you which was the best and worst of the week. But before we do that, we have got to review the final one, and this is the Firehouse Subs Firehouse Meatball. Italian meatballs, melted provolone, zesty marinara, and Italian seasonings. Also, this is a hot sub, but you could ask for it to be served cold, and you can also get it sweet and spicy with some other things that they add on it. So they give you some customization things here. This is also the medium size, and it is $7.99, so on par with the rest of the subs this week. And this is a little bit different though, because it's kind of served hot dog style, where all of your meatballs are up in the top versus kind of on the side.
This is the best looking meatball of the week. Yes. It matches what you see on their website.
Exactly. And there are 5 large meatballs as opposed to 8 smaller meatballs, because all the others had 8.
So when I went to the store to pick this up from the Firehouse Subs, the guy working there, he was an Indian guy. He had a country accent.
Really?
Yeah, and he was really nice. And probably it was his franchise, so he seemed to give a damn, right? Because look at this thing. All the others were just terrible looking, right?
Yes.
This looks exactly like the picture.
It does. It also comes with a pickle spear on the side, so that's different from all the others as well.
I love pickles, so that's really awesome. And I love the fact that you can actually make it spicy.
Sweet and spicy.
And guys, if you're new to our channel, basically, we review everyday grocery items. So before you spend your hard-earned money, let us tell you if it's worth it.
Let's try this out. If you'd like to support this channel, the easiest way to do that is using our Amazon links the next time you shop there.
All right, guys, welcome back. Our rating system. Thumbs up if again, thumbs down we would not. So for me, this is a thumbs up. This is a pretty good meatball. Compared to all the others, this is a gourmet meatball, man. This is made right. And here's the thing, the meatball, the actual meat, I feel is very similar to the rest. It's really the sauce here, the cheese, the bread being toasted, the spices they throw on top, I think it's oregano. It just really makes it. This is a good meatball sandwich, man. And what I also love is that the bread, it's not too much. So the star of it is the sauce, the cheese, and the meatball. So, you know, I think this is probably like made with love, whereas the others weren't. Maybe those would have a chance if the people making it, and I think this is, you know, the problem with all the others. The guy obviously today cared, right? This is a really good sub. Thumbs up.
If you like what we're doing here, please consider sending us super thanks. It helps us continue to provide more amazing content. Wow. Alrighty, so for me, this one is going to be a thumbs up. This is really good. They did great on this one. And I will disagree with you slightly. I do feel like the meatball is a little bit different than the others, because the Wich, the Subway, you know, those were kind of like all a little, you know, similar.
Yeah.
Even the Quiznos one, even though it had like much less seasoning than the others, those are all pretty similar. The Potbelly one though was different than the others, I feel like, because it was very well seasoned and a little bit more soft in texture. It wasn't so firm. And I feel like this one is more like the Potbelly one than the others are, because it is very soft in texture in terms of, it's not tough. Like, it's not a tough meatball. It feels kind of like a homemade like meatball that's not too compacted, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like this is really, really well seasoned. Like, it tastes like an Italian meatball, and it's very similar to the Potbelly one, but I think even just a little bit more well seasoned and a little bit more tender. The bread, really surprising, because what?
Well, I was gonna say the bread tasted like it was a buttery bread.
Yes, I would agree with that. And I think a lot of that had to do with the cheese kind of melting over the edges of it. And then also all of those seasonings sprinkled on top, because the bread was nicely soft, but not so soft that it felt like soggy or anything. And it also had a nice little like kind of exterior on it. I wouldn't even call it like crunchy, but it was like a nice toasty crust. And it had a slight chew to it, but it wasn't too tough. The sauce was really great. It tasted like a nicely seasoned pasta sauce. And surprisingly, I feel like there was an adequate amount of sauce because it looked like there may not have been.
There was plenty of sauce.
Yes, and the cheese, wow, I feel like this might be the one where you could actually taste the cheese the most out of all of them as well.
All right, guys, now the week is up. We got to decide here which one was our favorite sub and which one was our least favorite. So we're gonna start off with our least favorite, right? Because look, this one was pretty easy for me. It was the Wich. The kid did not give a and you know what? Maybe I should retract that. It was not an easy one for me because this was a pretty bad week, right? Because I said earlier in the week that you gotta really supervise with these kind of sandwiches. You can't just order online and pick it up. You need to be there. As they're making it, you gotta make sure they're making it correctly. Because it seems like a lot of these places, the people working there don't give a but Wich was terrible, dude. Like, I'm just shocked here. Because I feel like they're an underdog in the sub sandwich world. And after trying it, I think they just need to go away.
Wow.
So which one was your least favorite?
Okay, for me, my least favorite by a long shot was the Wich. That one, I'm just shocked by the lack of quality that we got there. And while I was editing that video, I was looking into the company and they have this whole thing about like having good vibes and like every franchisee has to pass the vibe check and all this and that. And I'm like, your sandwiches don't pass the vibe check.
Because when I walked in there, the vibe was really just negative. just told me just leave it alone, right? Just don't pick up the sandwich, walk out.
Just shut it down.
Just shut it down, but I had to for the channel. All right, guys, so now our favorite of the week. And for me, it's an easy one. It is the Firehouse subs. Basically because it was the only one that like actually gave it, that tried, right? So big kudos to the franchisee because he made it correctly. And so here's the thing though. I do like the Subway one. It's not my favorite, but it's the convenience factor because let's face it, there's a Subway everywhere, right? And so I always will go in there, watch them make it, make sure it's perfectly made to my liking. But Firehouse subs, hopefully they expand because they do a pretty good job. Now, one other thing I want to say is that apparently the Jersey Mike's, they used to have a meatball and then it went away. Obviously no one was buying it. And there is a petition to bring it back, but that might be like the one that tarnishes Jersey Mike's reputation. So if they got rid of it, look guys, just let it die, right?
Yes.
Because I think the truth is, well, you know what? You say your favorite.
Okay, so for me, my favorite is going to be the Firehouse subs by a long shot. I liked the Quiznos one okay. The Subway one was all right, like it was edible. But now that I've had this one, it's like those others are dead to me. Like this one is the one to go with if you have one in your area because everything about this was good. There was not a single bad part. And did you notice that at the beginning, we had nothing bad to say about the presentation of it or the ordering of it?
Yeah.
Every single other sub this week had major quality control issues. This one did not. It looked like the image online. It was presented nicely. Also, this one came in a box instead of like wrapped up in paper. I think that they just care a little bit more over there and it tasted like it.
Final point, I think when it comes to a meatball sandwich, because I said in the beginning, this seems to be a dying sandwich here in America. I think this is one of those sandwiches that needs to be bought at your local deli.
Yes.
That's not a chain, because then it's made with love, right? Because I think that's the problem the meatball has. People are just like buying frozen meatballs, throwing it in a marinara thing, and then just when you order it, scooping it out, throwing it on the bread, and that's it. But it's not made with love, which I think a meatball sandwich, just like Salisbury steak, meatloaf, especially Sloppy Joes, need. To sum it up on this one, thumbs up, thumbs up. And if you guys buy from Amazon, use our Amazon link. The reason is when you do that, we get 10 cents, 50 cents, possibly even $1, which means we can continue to review things.
All right, guys, that's the video. If you like what we're doing here, definitely check out our other channel, Food Prep Inc. And don't forget to give us a like and subscribe.